is.
Hello, Tracy. Your hairstyle. I love the color.
Thank you. I look
I
more like my
love
mom with
it.
blonde.
I love it.
Thank you
Beautiful.
very much. How are you, beautiful Gohar? To all of our viewing audience, allow me to introduce you to our beautiful Mrs. Globe from Armenia, beautiful Gohar.
Hi,
And
everyone.
how are you? What time is it over in Armenia right now?
It's 8 p.m.
Okay, not so bad then. It's 9 a.m. in the morning here. Tell me what's going on with the COVID lockdown and everything in Armenia.
Well, we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We've been locked for 2 months now, and all I wanted to do is to try to be a responsible citizen and follow all the guidelines. It was tough because we had all 5 kids in the house, around the house, but um, we made rules and guidelines for them to follow as well around the house, and everything went well. I'm a homey person, and I loved and enjoyed every second of it.
I imagine that. Let me just give our viewing audience a little bit of a background on Gohar. Now, when I always have these very special memories of each of our delegates, and I want to share some of the memories that I have of you, Gohar. Which one of them was, well, first off, when you walk in, your beauty just envelops the whole room. So
Thank
let's
you.
move beyond the obvious. And I remember when you were running for Mrs. Globe, that at that time I think you had two babies, right?
Yes,
Yes.
8 months old and less than 1 and 2 years old. Two
Yes,
babies.
and I remember that when you were asked, what is your future, Mrs. Armenia, what is your future, yada yada yada. You said at that time, and someday I would like to have. Did you say four
No,
kids
no,
or
I
five?
always say five. Yes.
Five. And so here you are, so many years later, a mother of five. And this is interesting because we have had Mrs. Globes that have had our Mrs. Globes have lots of kids. Like our current reigning Mrs. Globe, she has four boys, and Stacy Cooper, Mrs. Globe, 2001,
One.
has four girls,
So
and you have five. I think you hold the record of children.
I'm the
You're
champion.
the
So far.
champion.
So far.
So I definitely remember that. I remember the beautiful green dress that you won in, and that someday you wanted to get more involved in the direction of your company. And I want to talk about a little bit about what you're doing with the Miss Armenia in just a few minutes. So tell us a little bit about um, what made you originally decide to enter into the Mrs. Globe contest.
Well, I was going through a hard time when I entered Mrs. Globe. Actually, after getting married, I was withdrawn from my family and friends. I moved to another city, Moscow. I know many people love Moscow, but it was too cold and too dark for me. And after that, I understood that I was going through depression and just crying babies, hard pregnancies, one after another. And I remember Eugene called and said, God, there's that competition. Remember, we went to in 2001? And I remember Stacy won, and she was so beautiful, and she had already 4 children when she was shining on the stage. And I said, yes, I was dreaming about that competition. And he goes, well, you have the opportunity, but you have to be quick. Only 1 week. I said, Eugene, do you know what I'm going through right now? I have responsibilities. I'm a mother, and I have to take care of them. And I hung up, and then my husband comes, and I say, well, I complain about my life as usual. And I said, and Eugene called, and he was teasing me with this competition I was dreaming about. And after 20 seconds, he goes, you are going to Mrs. Globe, and that's final. And it was a life-changing moment. But the first thing I thought, it's not about winning the competition or traveling. I was hoping to get enough sleep. So, and I was thinking, I'm so selfish, but now I'm thinking that it was my first step to self-love as a mother. That's what it
Wonderful.
was. Yeah, and he said, "I'm not doing it for you or for me or for our kids. I'm doing it for our country. So go bring the crown."
And you did. You're the
And I
first world
did.
winner from Armenia. You know, one interesting point that I want um, to point out, and I wish I could find the picture because I didn't realize it was you at the time. But like you said, you won in 2010, right? December of
Yes.
2010. And in the year 2000, 2001, the event was here in the USA, and the beautiful Mrs. USA won, Stacy Cooper. And there's a picture that it was shown to me one day that it's Stacy Cooper just getting crowned Mrs. Globe, and you're standing right next to her.
And Dolores, actually.
And Dolores was there as well. And I marvel because I've noticed that if you step back far enough, our Mrs. Globes have this very unique intertwined life that either they met when they were at a Miss World or at a Miss Universe, or they, I have just these random pictures. I say, how in the world did
Yes.
this happen? So what
And
brought you?
Svetlana as well. Svetlana, who won Mrs. Globe, it was 20th anniversary, 18 or 17,
Yes, yes.
17 Mrs. Globe, and we're very close competition friends.
And you guys
And
met at Miss World, right?
Miss World and Miss CIS as well.
Oh,
Two
great,
competitions.
great. So that I love that story, and darn it, I wish that I could find the pictures to show people. There you are, just standing there, and I'm like, is that Gohar? Yes. I said, oh my gosh, the world is so small. So since winning Mrs. Globe, it's been almost 10 years since your victory at Mrs. Globe. How has the title followed you in life, and has it come to use? Is it still? Are you still recognized as Mrs. Globe in Armenia? I imagine so.
Well, as you said, when I won, the whole world was going through economic crisis, and I was living in Moscow with two little kids, and the social media platform was not that active. So, and I found out actually about Facebook in Mrs. Globe. Everyone was like, "Are you on Facebook? On what Facebook is it?" And we were using another platform for social media back then. I'm not going to mention about it, but. Yes, and as social media developed more and more, I started putting photos. And unfortunately, I had that big dream when you were talking about WIN Foundation, women empowerment, family abuse. I was always thinking and dreaming about developing those courses so I can help Armenian women not to get abused, or to teach young girls, and that's the direction I chose now, to teach young girls in the future not to get into abusive relationship. And that's why I started Miss Armenia Beauty Pageant. So I will have my queens and my spokespersons so that they can spread the word how to be beautiful and strong, and set goals and achieve those goals. So as Mrs. Globe, I know I have a lot to do, and I realized back then that I took upon myself a big responsibility by taking the title. But better late than never, right?
Exactly, and you're doing great things now. The Mrs. Armenia, you took it over when?
Miss Armenia,
Miss
Miss
Armenia.
Armenia, I took over in 2017. Actually, Armenia has never been introduced in Miss World and Miss Universe, the biggest competition for unmarried women. So I had the dream of having Armenia represented. And first year we represented Armenia in Miss World, and started second year in 2018. We
I have chill
entered Miss
bumps.
Universe. Yes, it was my dream, and I couldn't do it. And I'm trying to see Armenia taking part through our other queens.
I remember when you were running for Mrs. Globe in 2010 that at that time you had also said that, someday I might consider going into politics. I really want to do something for my country. And I think fast forward life, you found just a perfect way to really do something for your country, to do something for the women, the young women, the next generation in your country. And it just so happens to be in an industry that you excel in. So that landmark dream also came true for you in a unique way.
Yes, well, pageantry is something I love about it. It was very hard, and I treasure now all the pageant you and other people who were organizing pageants where I won, and I treasure and I value more because now I could see the other side of the coin and see how difficult it is actually be a pageant organizer. I went through a lot of ups and downs. A lot of people were talking that it wasn't perfectly done, and I was mastering myself and doing everything I could. It's hard. It's really difficult, but I'm really enjoying. I'm enjoying international competitions, going there and meeting other national directors, communicating. It's something I want to do out of my family.
That's exciting. And you had a chance to visit us this past year in China. You came and
Yes,
it was the first time that we had a chance to physically see each other in a very long time. And you also had a chance to meet some of the other Mrs. Globes. And though you knew Sveti before, you had a chance to meet, who else was there? Mada was there, and I think we had six Mrs. Globes there at the same
yes.
time. What is it like when you're there in the audience and you're sitting with, and I don't mean this in an arrogant way, but a very elite group of women in the world. There are only, 24 right now. Next year, 25 women who have captured this world title. I mean, what an amazing footprint to leave for your family, for yourself. But what is, when you're sitting there, what is your most proud thought about yourself, and what's your most humble thought about yourself in this wonderful position? Like, wow, I'm really here, and yet I'm really here.
Actually, I have to thank you for doing a great job by keeping us bonded as family. Thanks to our WhatsApp chat, we even those who I never met, I feel like that sisterhood is working. We're so passionate about each
Great.
other, and we always keep that our family bonded and support each other, even if we don't meet. So yes, I enjoy the time when I come, and it happens rarely. I hope I can join you more. But yes, of course, it comes from you. You treat every one of us like a queen, and it doesn't matter when you won. You feel fresh, always important. And yes, I did feel myself as a queen, as you do it. But the humble thing, I don't concentrate on how much important I am, because we always have new title holders who are more important. We always treasure them and value them more. But just communicating with other girls is the most beautiful thing.
For those of you who are just joining us, we're interviewing the beautiful Gohar, our Mrs. Globe, who won in December of 2010. She is from Armenia, the first world winner from Armenia. So if you have any questions for her, go ahead and send them up to her, and I'll be able to ask them. But just to let you know, what Gohar is referring to is one of the things I've really worked on in creating the Mrs. Globe a family, I would say, is really to keep a synergy in a family. We have this private WhatsApp group, which just the world winners in it. And I can think back of years ago when there were, just like 5, 7, 10, and now we're up to 20. And every year it's always, I look at that before the pageant and I think, I wonder what name is going to go in here next. and we all kind of wait to see, here she is, and we hit send, and she's introduced into this family of supporters, because you guys are so good about helping the new Mrs. Globe get on her feet and understand that she isn't alone in carrying the crown and the banner and whatnot. So let's
Can
talk.
you add something, Tracy? I want to add something that it's your competition is one of a million that is completely fair. And people won't imagine, they always used to think that beauty pageants are corrupted. And being inside well, winning a competition and being as a judge, I can be proud, and you have to be proud that you kept the clean, because you have been Mrs. Globe. You know how it is to be a competitor, and I have been. So it's the purest and most fair competition ever. Well, mine too, but
Thank
as
you.
an
Thank
international
you.
competition, people enter, girls enter, and they always think, will this be fair? And the answer is yes, it is the most fair competition ever.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that, because we work hard at it. We obviously have opportunities not to be fair, but I have always chosen that land that the best woman truly wins. And what I find out is sometimes at the end, when you think, "Wow, I thought it would go this way, but it went this way," is inevitably something happens in the woman's life where being Mrs. Globe wouldn't have been the right thing, and the person who takes the title, it just fit into the overall plan of her life. But thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. One of the things that I want you to share with our viewing audience, Gohar, is you are so beautiful. And you have a beauty secret. And I have to tell you that after you shared your beauty secret with me, I went out and I guzzle this stuff every day. You are a huge aloe vera fan.
Well, yes, it's one of my secrets, though.
What are your secrets? Talk to us a little bit about your aloe vera regime and how you use it, from drinking it to on your skin
Oh,
to.
it's so bitter. Yes, I do it twice a year, and I drink it, a freshly squeezed juice, and I apply on my face. But I'm not drinking it very often, not often than twice a year. And I drink it only 1 week because it's really bitter. Well, I said, I got so many letters and calls from women, and they fixed only one thing, that you can lose weight. Actually, I'm not doing it for weight loss because I want to actually gain weight. I have a problem, but once it cleans your body, you feel good and your skin shines. So it's one of the things I use, but not overdo. Everything must be um,
in
relatively, yeah, in small portions.
in balance. So,
Mhm.
tell our viewing audience about your children. You have five boys, girls.
I have 3 girls and 2 boys. I have twins, boy and a girl, 3 years old, and 7-year-old boy, and girls 11 and 12 years old.
Would you encourage your daughters to go into pageantry?
Oh, that's a good question. It's funny, but as a pageant organizer, it clearly says in the license agreement that as long as I am a national director, my daughters do not have the right to participate. So either I quit or they participate through my national competition. But I try to give them advices to prepare them if they want to take part in the future. And those advices are not only for competitions, they're for life, like learning English or public speaking or good poise and also the fitness and everything that we teach our girls. I try to start from now, and I motivate them to have a good message eventually, to do charity and have that message what interests them. Actually, I have my crown here to
You're
witness
beautiful,
to
Mrs. Globe.
witness
Can you
everything
hold
good
that
luck.
up? Hold up your
Sure.
crown. This is their beautiful Mrs. Globe chain with our signature head chain. And Svetlana just joined on, so I want to make this announcement. Did you know? You know what's happening with our crown this year on our 25th year anniversary?
We were
Um,
discussing it.
I'm having our official beautiful head chains made in simulated diamonds.
Wow.
Yes, and so
Thank
it's
you.
going to be available only to the world winners. You can replace yours with a signature simulated diamonds, and the new winner will have one made of simulated diamonds in honor
Excellent.
of our 25th year anniversary. I'm
Thank
super
you, Kate.
excited about it. Yes, yes,
Yes, we're
we are.
going.
Mm-hmm. So, for those of you who, hello, Lucas. For those of you who have any questions for Gohar, just pop them up on the screen. I can see them now. And let's see, it says, Gohar, you're so beautiful. You have beautiful skin. Yes,
Oh,
she
thank
does.
you. It's a lighting. I tried to put the light because it's dark out here. Thank you so much.
Tell me something. How long have you been married now?
I have been married for 13 years. And yes, you're right. I had this goal of having a big family, lots of children. It was in our wedding agreement, not in a contract, just agreement. And yes, it was very hard during that time. But when I set a goal, I do it. I just achieve it, no matter what. And well, with time, I give this advice to many women, mothers, that you need a time for self-love because this conversation is about self-love. I wanted to talk about it, that if you don't pay attention on how you feel, and because I went through postpartum depression once, you have to take care of yourself. As it says in the airplane, put an oxygen mask first on your face and then to your child, and everyone benefits out of it. And your husband, your children, you, everyone. Being a miserable wife and mom is not going to benefit anyone. So
No, it doesn't.
that's
Okay, we
about
have a question. Hold on. Gohar, when was the last time you put on the Mrs. Globe banner and for what occasion? And just one moment. Ekaterina, can you please remove the gentleman up top that made that rude comment? We don't need to see that on this channel. So go ahead. So the question was, when was the last time you put on the Mrs. Globe banner and for what occasion was it?
it was a Mrs. Globe 2 years ago. Yes, in China. Um, I'm trying to remember. Yes, that was the last time.
Yeah, it was.
2018 Mrs. Globe Beauty Competition. That was the last time I put it.
That was exciting.
And
It
it's
was
beautiful.
exciting.
And it's happy.
2019, actually. Wasn't it this year?
2019.
Yeah, it was just this year. Because I remember that Zara was our Mrs. Armenia, correct?
Yes.
Zara, who is a huge fan of yours, she was so excited to be able to represent Armenia. And thank you so much for all the mentorship that you did with her and of her. So we only have a few more minutes left. And before we sign off, of course, my whole journey and passion in life is learning about this beautiful discovery of self-love. And in order to do all the things that you do and be Mrs. Globe and be that mentor for women, will you share with the audience one of your self-love diamonds that you use for your life and that you would want to share and pass forward to our viewers?
Um, well, one of the self-love diamonds that I like to use is to bring the best qualities that you have. Bring out, be positive, because there's so many negative people and negative things that are going on in our lives. We have negative and positive sides in our characters. So just to keep the best that you can be. That's one of the things, and to just uh, treat yourself like a queen. There's a saying, to treat you as a queen and you're going to attract the king. And I'm practicing it. I'm writing down things I want to do, and I write down the timeline, and I make sure I did all the things I wanted to do in my life and not miss a thing, because life is short. We have to live it at its fullest.
It's so true, and I agree with you 100%. You know, there's a lot to be said about taking the time and writing out your dreams, because when we see it in writing, it becomes more real, and it gives us something to look forward to. And there's it just puts a certain energy behind it, and I agree with you also 100%. You know, attitude is 100% choice, because you know all of us wake up in the morning and our bodies may hurt. As my mother says, we all wake up tired. That we all and especially the longer we're on this journey of life, tragedy, difficult times, questionable times are unavoidable. We all go through them, and only we possess the power to be able to keep ourselves centered and say, you know, I have the choice right now to look at this as a negative or as a lesson. And one of my favorite quotes that I have, it's by a gentleman by the name of Anthony DeMilo, and he said, "Nothing has changed but my attitude, and now everything has changed." So it's so important. Thank you so much for sharing that. To all of our viewers, everybody is clapping and sending hearts and loves. I don't know if you can see all the responses,
Yes,
Gohar.
I do.
I Go ahead.
I can't take my eyes out of your beautiful hair, and I love it.
Thank you very much. It's a change, huh? And it's
Yes,
so
it's
funny. I
nice.
look like my mom with it since I
Oh,
did the
really?
blonde. And it wasn't, you know, the blonde was an accident. I have to tell you that I went to have highlights put in my hair, and it took so long, and I was having a dinner party that I said, okay, I have to leave it. And I came home and I had the dinner party, and everybody was like, I love your blonde. And I'm like, oh, I guess I better keep it. So I went from
And
brunette to
interesting, all our beauty queens, with time, they get better and better. If you see, they never age, they never lose their shine. They're always beautiful, no matter how long time goes by.
well, I think I'm the oldest one. I'm 56, so there we go. All right. So listen, Gohar, thank you so much for your
Thank
time. It
you.
is 9:30 and we're out of time. We hope to have you back, and I hope to see you
I
in
hope to see
China
you
this year.
personally.
And just you
But
are an amazing light in the world, and keep up the good work. We're so proud that you carry our beautiful brand of Mrs. Globe, and I look forward to your beautiful footprints in the future between you and your wonderful children. Ladies and gentlemen, our beautiful
thank you
Mrs.
so
Globe
much for
2010
this
Gohar from
opportunity.
Armenia. All
Mhm.
right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us, and we will see you next week at 9 o'clock Pacific time right here on Self Love Diamonds with the Duchess and the Doctor. Talk to you guys soon. Ciao. Bye, Gohar.